Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we proudly provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and this is a brand new show. Yay! It's Ahead for Business. What were they thinking? So you may be thinking to yourself, how did they come up with this incredible show? Well, it's all a credit to my dear friend, colleague, and mentor, Mr. Al Cini. He's one of the co-founders of Pro Fit for Teams. And when I tell you this man knows everything there is to know about television, I am just getting started. Let's bring my dear friend and colleague onto the program, Al Cini. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Dr. Jacalyn. I am fine, and it seems to me as though you're in good form. And we have a really great first episode of Ahead for Business lined up today. So I'm looking forward to getting started with it.
Absolutely. And I know that you've got a lot of bells and whistles that you're going to be bringing out later. And you've also got a special guest. But tell us, Al, what could it be?
I'm teasing the last segment of the program.
I'm drooling, salivating. Can't wait to hear what it is.
Oh, yeah.
How did you come up with the name of this show and this concept?
Really quickly. I mean, we've been talking about this since, I think, 1963. So it's finally happening. And one of the things I've discovered in my time as a project manager is that at the end of the day, it's not process that gets things done. It's motivation, psychology, and mindset. And in truth, the way you get things done in business is by putting your head in the game, and your heart kind of follows along with that. So what I thought would be fun would be exploring topics of maybe cases where people maybe missed opportunities or maybe bobbled the ball. We have, and that's one of our discussions today. But I'm really excited to bring along for the ride a really good friend of mine by the name of Rich Allen, who has been a tremendous friend of USA Global TV and Radio, helped us find great guests and is still helping us with that. Also has a very diverse background, and I think he's got a lot to offer.
Super excited to meet Rich officially. We just met quickly backstage. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Richard W. Allen to the program. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Good morning, or afternoon, and good evening, right? It's a pleasure to be here, an honor to be here, actually, to be with you too. So,
well, the reason why you're here, Rich, is because I know that when it comes to having a head for business, you got a pretty encyclopedic big head filled with ideas, and I'm looking forward to picking your brain a little bit today. So from your point of view, based on your experience, and I will introduce you as an educator and a school administrator, school leader, I should say, really education leadership. There were things that you did with the kids in the schools that were very unique and that you're proud of. So maybe we can start a little bit with those wonderful questions that you asked that get great results.
Sure. So, people always wonder what the connection is between education and business. And I have to say, it's got everything to do with business. So one of the things that I knew early on was that with education was that you're selling an experience. I used to talk about creating a school of excellence and no excuses, and that's really what business people do too. You're selling an experience. What I do at Voice when we started the language interpretation company with the founder Andrew Royce, and now with the merger with a company called Marty under the leadership of the CEO Maureen Huber, we provide language interpretation services for people who don't speak English and need medical assistance, and working with the healthcare providers. What we really are selling is an experience. The end result is that the people leave feeling that they had a voice and they had a choice, and that the product was something that made their lives significantly better. Now they have a voice, they have advocacy, and that's what we did at the school. We created an experience. We took a failing urban school, and made it a successful school. You can read about it in a book by Eric Schenneger called Uncommon Learning, schools that creating schools that I forgot the name of the book, and I'm chapter 8, by the way. But creating schools that work for kids, and it really was about creating real world experiences, authentic experiences, and all of that came not because I read books about how to be successful in business or how to be successful in education, but more about studying the mistakes people made. We spend a lot of time reading about how to become successful. You go to Barnes and Noble, there's bookshelves worth of books on how to be successful. And isn't it interesting that people don't mind putting their secrets to success on the shelves for everybody to read? They're not worried about competition. One, they know people won't read them. They'll buy them, maybe read them, maybe not read them, just put them off to the side. But once they fail, they quit. Rather than analyzing why it quit. Ask anybody who's written a doctoral dissertation. The last chapters are always the most important chapter, most interesting chapter, because they talk about what they would do differently, and what things to study. This is not just what they found in their dissertation, in their research, but considerations for further growth and for further achievement. But we don't do that. We tend to quit. Or we rely on our successes. We rely on what always worked for us. We say in education, and we hear them in business too, that the worst words you can ever utter are, "This is the way we've always done it." And I always warn people to be careful of that, of having your own Kodak moment, because you refuse to change, refuse to grow, or to analyze things that aren't working for you. You're just thinking, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. Other people are learning from you. They're watching what your successes are and finding out where your failures are, finding your weak points, and then creating a business that mirrors yours without the mistakes.
That's, I think there are a couple of things I wanted to pick up there. One point I wanted to make is that Andrew Royce, is it?
Right.
He's the guy who started Voice, was a student of yours. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? How did that happen?
Sure. So Al, you and I have talked about this before. My pet peeve is when people say to students, even college students, I teach at the college level at the university, at Monmouth University, and also Brookdale Community College. And I never say to them, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always say, what great problem do you want to solve? I think if we took that approach in every school, and treated Al wants to go into the TV business, and Dr. Jacalyn wants to go into becoming a producer and a director. So why don't I teach to their interests? Dr. Dagger talks about relevance. The rigor comes from relationships and relevance. But if we're not doing that in schools, if we're not developing a relationship with them and then teaching towards what matters to them most, we just get students get passed by through school. So I preached always to my teachers, do not say, what do you want to do when you grow up? Say to them, what great problem do you want to solve? And then gear the curriculum to that. And if you ask an entrepreneur, somebody has this entrepreneurial spirit but doesn't know what they want to do just yet, ask them, what great problem do you want to solve? So Andrew was a Fulbright scholar and went to McGill in Canada. And part of his volunteer work was to help relocate Syrian refugees who in Canada had two problems. One, they speak English, and two, they speak French. So how do you assimilate them into community? How do you provide them with housing and with education and with food and medical assistance if you can't speak to them? And from there was born Voice. Again, he said it was that the idea of what great problem do you want to solve? And if we all take that approach, I think we become more successful, because now you're passion driven rather than purpose driven. I think purpose is good. I mean, but it should come as part of. It should motivate your passion. If everything's passion driven, you're far more successful and more willing to keep going even when things get tough. You tend not to quit when it's a passion, and you don't listen to the negatives because it's your passion.
That's great. While we're on the subject, Voice, I've seen demos of it. It's an amazing service. Debabbilizes the craziness of all the languages we have to deal with, and it does it real time with actual human beings participating. It's not AI. It's so there's a personal connection, and as Rich mentioned, a deep personal experience that comforts people and rather than just informs them. So it's a terrific service. And real quick, Rich, where does somebody go to learn more about Voice?
Well, Voice and Marty merged to become to fall under an umbrella called Equity Health, and it's now sold as Marty. And so just go to marty.com and you'll learn all about it. We're in some of the largest hospitals systems in the country, and then small hospitals. So, everybody, we used to say everybody deserves a voice, and they do. So it could be a doctor's office with one practitioner to FQHCs, to small hospitals, large hospitals, healthcare systems. So just do a Google search for Marty, and you can reach out to some of the salespeople there. There's also you can see us on LinkedIn. Marty's always there, trying to be an innovator in the field.
That's great. And one other point I wanted to make before we say goodbye to you, and this is, I think, a really important point. When you ask people the question, what problem do you solve, instead of what do you want to grow up, when you go deep with a question like that, you avoid the Kodak moment. You mentioned the Kodak moment. The Kodak moment is where all of a sudden you're working so hard to save the camera that you forget that your customers are moving in a completely different direction.
Right.
So we got Kodak, we've got Sears, we have Blockbuster, companies that used to be huge companies that don't exist anymore, maybe because they never asked the question, what is the problem you're trying to solve?
What's the problem solve? And the other thing too is that we tend to want to be problem solvers before we even ask the questions. I think the whole concept of question storming, Dr. Tracy Severance, Al, you know her well, talks about the question storming. We tend to want to solve things before we even know what the questions are. And if you ever have a moment to start asking real questions about what great problem you want to solve and why you want to solve it, you get to about 80, 90, I don't mean years old, I mean questions, the number of questions you ask. I love telling that joke. I'm the only one who laughs to it, but thank you, Al, I heard you laughing. When you start asking really tough questions about what you're doing and why you're doing it, you really get to the source and to the core of the problem, and it helps you define your passion. So that then when you get started, you at least you already anticipate the questions while you're driving towards finishing your product. And I think one of the problems with a lot of school administrators and teachers, professors, and with businesses too, is that they want everything to be perfect before they get started. But part of the question storming comes along when think of the story of Waves. Everybody knows Waves, or they're probably using Google Maps now, but he didn't wait for it to be perfect. I don't know if you're familiar with the story, Al and Dr. Jacalyn, but he put it out there and asked people to try it, and they hated it. And from that feedback, They started to perfect it till apparently to eventually it became the system we all rely on, that GPS system. But asking those questions, asking real questions, and people say to me, well, there's no such thing as a bad question. So, how's that going to help when you question storm? Well, I kind of disagree. A question is a quest. The first 5 questions of the word quest, a question is the first 5 letters of the word question is quest. What's a quest? It's a journey. And your questions should lead you to that journey so that you eventually not only just have a passion, but you have that passion realized in real form with a business or a service that is successful, and it's successful because it's made other people successful.
That's terrific. So Dr. Kerbeck, we have a new smart person as part of the family. Isn't that great?
Fantastic. Welcome aboard. And Rich, I just want to thank you. I had forgotten, because it's been since 2012, about my doctoral dissertation and the last chapter. I want to go back and see what I actually wrote and how things have transpired since then. So thanks for that nice recollection.
Or to see how many people you've inspired from that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
You never know. That's so great. Dr. Allen, it is a pleasure working with you as always, and we'll look forward to having you in future programs too.
My pleasure. It was a thrill. Thank you.
And for people who want to get in touch with you, we do have your email address if you would just like to read this out for people who will be listening later on a podcast platform.
Sure. It's rallen60@gmail.com.
All right. Thank you again for being with us.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Rich.
See you again soon. Bye.
Bye now. So what do you think?
I really enjoyed that, Al. That was fantastic for our pilot episode to have Rich with us.
He's a great guy and a great connector, somebody who really knows how to hook up an idea to a person and create a result from it, a positive result from it. He's just really talented at that. I've known him for years. I've worked with him on other projects that were education related, but we've also had plenty of stimulating conversations. One of these days, we're going to write a book. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do that yet, but we'll fit it in somewhere. And I think a cool book can come out of that collaboration. So,
well, you and I met yesterday, and I said to you, you've got to have a book, Al. You need a book. So now we actually have the context about the book. So I just want to let our audience know, in case they're just joining us, and maybe it's the first time on USA Global TV and Radio, that today we're talking about what were they thinking? So there's a lot of different brands out there. And by the way, because we're on social media right now, we're actually streaming to 12 different platforms and will be distributed through distributors and then on podcast platforms. We, as a human collective, get to see real time when we're making mistakes as business owners, because it ends up being all over on social media. And Al, you and I talked yesterday about the fact that sometimes it could actually be planned. Maybe it was planned to look like a failure, because there's always opportunity when it comes to something not going the right way. What are your thoughts about that, Al?
Well, my thoughts are that something recently happened that is taking social media kind of by storm. I hate to say that because so many things take social media by storm so often that often a lot of these waves kind of get lost in the ocean of craziness in social media. But the reason why I was kind of hyping this bag, aside from the fact that I know that my cardiologist will be horrified at what's coming, is the whole idea of McDonald's introducing a new product called the Big Arch. And it came with a great deal of fanfare and also a little bit of cringe. And so I want to explore the cringe today in this segment of Run This.
What were they thinking?
Yeah, what were they thinking? This is a segment where we'll explore things like the Kodak moment that Rich mentioned, and companies like Blockbuster and plenty of other companies, the whole Bud Light thing that people might remember from a couple of months ago, maybe a year ago. But today we're discussing the Arch Burger. It's coming.
I can't wait to hear more about this. And by the way, folks, this morning I got a text message from Al with a picture of the bag. And I thought, you know what? He's ready to go. I can't wait for this segment.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
what it was actually in on social
We've
media in
got
case people? Oh, we got it.
quarter-pound
I will do that. This is Chris
patties, a delicious
Kempczynski.
big
Let me pause this for a second. This is Chris Kempczynski, Chris K. He calls himself, and he's the CEO of McDonald's, and he's introducing the Arch Burger, and he's doing it. Well, you'll see. So let's watch the original, the thing that first hit social media. The goal really to get people curious enough about the product to go out and make this life-shortening purchase decision. So let's go ahead and start it.
Okay,
and here he goes.
You've heard about it. Here it is, the Big Arch. This is something that we have tested already in Portugal, Germany, Canada. I love this product. It is so good. I'm going to do a tasting right now, but I'm going to eat this for my lunch, just so you know. So here we go. First, holy cow. God, that is a big burger. We've got a very unique kind of sesame poppy sort of bun on.
Before he goes too far, I do want to say they tested it in Canada, I think he said, and Germany, and a couple of places. And the first thing I thought when I heard him say that was, and now we're ready for human trials. Here we go.
We've got 2 quarter-pound patties, a delicious Big Arch sauce, and of course some lettuce. So, there's so much going on with this. First of all, let's try to get this thing. I don't even know how to attack it. Got so much to it. Oh, there's also some crispy onions on here as well. I see those kind of coming out. All right, the moment of truth. That is so good. That's a big bite for a big arch.
It's actually kind of a pathetically little bite, but that was.
By the way, what about the use of the word attack?
Well, that is attack, I think, is so. I think you've got your finger on it now. How did that make you feel? What was the emotional payload of that whole presentation of his new? He calls it a product. He didn't call it a hamburger.
Yeah, it's like he's an arm's length away from it, as opposed to this is what he's living and breathing day in and day out. And by the way, I just want to share with our audience, I'm a little bit of a health nut. I don't eat meat, but I remember the days of eating McDonald's, and it was like such a special treat to get the quarter pounder with cheese, the large fries, and the black and white shake. But this example that we're watching, I don't feel like he's fully invested in it.
Well, he's handling his product the way a nuclear physicist would handle radioactive uranium, kind of through a plate glass with remote manipulator arms. And then when he takes a bite, it's for a sandwich that big, it's about the smallest bite a human being can take out of it and still call it a bite. I mean, anything less than that would have been a kiss, not a bite. So
you know what I would have liked to have seen now? I would have liked to see like this special sauce, like just drooling down his face, and he couldn't stop eating it. He was that maybe got lost in it for a moment instead of I've got a meeting to get to. I've got to run.
Can't go wrong with that. Well, anyway, this all ends up on social media, that clip over and over again. And people watched it and, and they made fun of it. Let's just put it that way. I want to, let me add a
Chris K here with.
Here's an example.
Heard about it? Here it is, the Big Arch. I'm gonna do a taste testing right now of this product, but I'm also gonna eat it for my lunch, just so that you guys know. I'm not actually gonna eat it for my lunch. I just need them to think I'm going to. Sir, we're still rolling. Oh, hello. Here we go. Oh wow! Holy moly! That's a big burger. I don't even know how to attack it. There's just so much going on with it.
What was that, sir?
I don't want to do this.
It was the board's decision.
Okay. No, I will. All right, moment of truth. That is so good. That is a big bite right there. This is a delicious product. Less pain? Okay. This is a delicious product. Look like I'm enjoying it. Have you had this? This is a delicious product. That felt right. You could still see the pain in my eyes? Well, I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my fabulous lunch. Big Arch, if you can find it, get it.
What do you think?
Well, first of all, we've got a question, and the question is, how old is that Big Mac? So, yeah, it might look like a Big Mac, but it's actually not. It's one of their newest products, which is,
You mean the thing I have here?
yeah.
No, this is an arch. This is a big arch, and I'm going to actually take a little bite out of it in a little bit. I mean, it's my lunch. I'm saving it for my lunch, but I am going to kiss this product at least on the air, and that's coming up. And I got it yesterday. I mean, yeah, it's a little weird to go to McDonald's at 9 o'clock in the morning and ask for a hamburger that's half a pound. It's and 1,000 calories and 2 days worth of sodium. I mean, to say the least.
Well, remember, Al, some people could have just gotten off of work so then maybe it could be their dinner. But I want to go back to the actual clip because I really appreciate that you brought those two clips in today. And I think when we think about this show, what were they thinking? Okay, was it planned? I don't think that it was actually planned because Chris looked like he was really not comfortable doing what he was doing. So is it that he wasn't comfortable in front of the camera? Was he not comfortable eating the sandwich in front of the camera? I'm not really sure what it is, but you brought up a great point yesterday, which was he doesn't have to leave to go to lunch or go anywhere to a meeting because he is the CEO, but yet it makes it sound like, well, I don't have a long time to eat this.
Well, yeah, I'm going to run another clip too, because I don't think people really understand or appreciate the role of director in making a video like that. It's not just about setting up a camera. There's something you're going for usually, and there's usually more than one take on a. I mean, I understand that Chris is probably a very busy guy as the CEO of McDonald's, but he knows this is an important moment. And from a directorial point of view, somebody might actually be advising him to approach it that way, and I'll show you why on this next clip.
All right, the moment of truth. That's a burger. That is so good. I love this product. It is so good. I'm going to do a tasting right now.
We love this burger product, which most people call a burger.
Of course, we're starting with our Wendy's Square Patty, fresh, never frozen beef. Absolutely nothing better.
I'm going to do a tasting right now, but I'm going to eat this for my lunch, just so you know.
I'm going to do a tasting right now, but this is actually my lunch.
Oh, of course, you got to have a Frosty with a burger. Is this set up today? Oh, wait, our machines are always working.
That is so good.
Only one thing missing, a napkin.
I do want to point out that they gave me a plethora of napkins yesterday when I was at McDonald's. So yeah, so now you get the point. And competitors actually jumped on this. This thing got so much play. I mean, really an unbelievable amount of play. Let me kind of give you an idea. If you go on something like Instagram or TikTok and you search for Arch Burger or Big Arch, you get these days hundreds of reels of parodies and competitors and telling you, essentially promoting this product. Even the competitors are helping McDonald's sell this product. So the question then, and it's a question for you, Dr. Jacalyn, what do you think? Do you think this is a deliberate flub on their part, maybe?
Well, I think the bottom line is it probably helped drive sales revenue because people are talking about it. We're talking about it today. You went and bought one. And I'd be interested to find out if you would buy another.
Well, this is my second one. This is my second one.
Your second one.
I am embarrassed to say in front of our audience of 100,000 people who were considering buying one of these. This is my second one. I got one about a week ago after I first heard the product was introduced. And it's I'm almost embarrassed to say it's actually kind of good. It's actually a pretty good sandwich. I mean, you know, and the funny thing about it is that while you'd think that all this publicity would be negative and that as a result of it, the sales would be down, the truth is that based on, it's hard to get actual sales numbers, you know, but I do know their stock price is up almost 10% since they introduced the sandwich. And I do know they get an awful lot of buzz online from people who are making fun of the CEO, but they're making fun of the CEO. And while they're doing that, they're selling the CEO's product without even knowing it.
We've actually got a comment.
I think it might be a little bit more deliberate than you'd think.
Yeah, I agree. We've got a comment from Patrick1101C. I sent McDonald's CEO an email challenging him to eat one of his arch burgers in public, and I would match him bite for bite, even if it made me sick, and nobody has returned my email.
Well, I'll tell you what, Patrick. Here we go.
All right.
Let's see.
I'm giving you the spotlight.
This is moment of truth. Hell of a product.
You got your napkins ready, right, Al?
I've got a pile of napkins. Really, these are enough napkins to. I could deliver a baby with this many napkins, and maybe that's what we're talking about here. Okay, so can you see it?
I see it. Yeah, I do see it.
A little lid here. Look at that.
So let's talk about the bun first of all. It looks like the bun's a little bit different.
Well, it is a little different. I'm really kind of embarrassed talking about this sandwich, to tell you the truth. Yeah, it's got poppy seeds and sesame seeds on it, and it's kind of darker. I don't know what that means. They didn't put, where a Big Mac has 3 slices of bread, there's a kind of a slice of bread in between the 2 patties in a Big Mac. This one only has 2. And it's a mess.
I do want to caution you first. Wait, hold on. We do have a comment from Patrick, which we can't vet that this is actually true or not. But Patrick, thank you. I worked at a very meat processing plant in Oklahoma City that supplies McDonald's, and I wouldn't eat their food. All right. Thank you for sharing. Al, you going to go for it anyway?
Thank you for that, Patrick. I'm going to do it anyhow.
All right.
Because I'm figuring I already had one. Like I said, I'm trying to build up antibodies.
He's still here.
To this stuff. So here we go.
All right. Dig in. First bite.
Well, okay.
Looks a little rare, is it?
It is a little bit. I mean, to me, it looks like real meat, but what would I know? So
we don't know. We can only go by Patrick. We don't know Patrick yet, but we thank him for sharing that.
I'm taking Patrick at his word. I appreciate. Thank you, Patrick. The warning's coming a little late. Maybe we'll hear again from Patrick, but it's good. I mean, I'm going to eat it for lunch. It's only 10:30.
Isn't everyone eating it for lunch? Not me, though.
I don't know. The way I figure it, if DuPont made a hamburger, this would be it.
All right. So, question I have for you, Al, just in general, you're somebody who takes care of themselves and minds their health. Is this something you could eat on a regular basis, and your cardiologist would not be flipping out about it?
I can't think of a single doctor or specialist that I'm seeing these days. I hang out with a lot of specialists these days. I mean, I know I look healthy, but underneath the surface, I'm one of these hamburgers. Really, I'm kind of a mess. So I don't think any of them would recommend one of these, but they all recommend pills that you can take that counteract the effects of these.
Exactly.
Statins, for example.
We do have a comment.
Medicine.
From Frank Viola. Hi, Frank. I think back to the new Coke, which was similarly ridiculed and disparaged. But when Coke announced going back to the original recipe, their sales shot up and drove further success in the cola wars. Absolutely.
That's a really, really, really good point. And I did think about it. I'm really glad Frank brought that up because it occurred to me. I mean, some of our audience may not be old enough to remember, but there was a time when Pepsi was threatening Coke's position in the marketplace. They had a sweeter product. That sweeter product appealed to younger cola drinkers. And they were building an audience based on the fact that Pepsi was the drink of a new generation and Coke was kind of an old brand that you want to move away from that. So the Coca-Cola company invented New Coke, which was a sweeter version of Coca-Cola. And when they invented it, they said, we're not going to make the old stuff anymore. It's all going to be New Coke from now on, and that's it. So there were waves, and this is before social media was a big thing. There were waves and waves of stories about people who were hoarding cases of the old Coke because they were sure it was going to go away in favor of this new Coke product that everybody was, as Frank points out, making fun of all over the place. And then they pulled back their horns and changed their minds and preserved their market position by making a mistake that wasn't actually a mistake. It actually turned out to be a really, really slick marketing move. And I think Chris doing kind of a clumsy job of selling this product is really, really slick, a slick marketing move on his part. And I think his director knew that. So I think they wanted him to approach the Arch Burger, the Big Arch, the way he did, because they knew that would invite parody. And parody is, I had a friend of mine who was local politics, Philadelphia politics, very successful, had an arch enemy in the same party, which is often true. And the arch enemy got really terrible press all the time. Just every headline was negative. Every story was negative. But his point was, I don't care what you say about me, just make sure you spell my name right. And I think we have a kind of an example of that right here that we're looking at.
Yeah, I agree with you. And thank you, Frank, for the comment. You know, I remember seeing recently somewhere that there was an ad for some kind of probiotic soda products. I think it was Coke, but don't hold me to it. I tried to do a quick search. And I thought to myself, you know, I have ulcerative colitis, so I'm all about my intestines. I haven't had a soda, honestly, in over 30 years. But my mother, God bless her, she loved her Coca-Cola. And I used to go to the grocery store and they would have get 3 for 2, get 4 for 3. It was whatever it was, like, get more of this unhealthy stuff for you. But thinking about probiotics or prebiotics and soda together, I don't really see that going. But who knows? Maybe it will drive people to buy more sodas. I'm not really sure.
It's possible. I mean, I do want to say this. What were they thinking? Well, what they were thinking was we can sell more hamburgers if we kind of make fun of the CEO, because they don't make fun of the product. They make fun of the CEO. And at the end of the day, it's sort of like, you know, I think I could try one of those. I got to see the product. I got to see that he took a bite out of it and lived. So that's kind of a proof point. And remember, it's not a healthy meal. It's a happy meal. That's McDonald's.
That's right. It's a happy meal. And by the way, for some of our younger viewers, I don't even know if this still exists, but it used to be back in the day, and I'm talking 30 years ago, you would go to McDonald's and you could get little happy prizes and happy gifts and happy things that you were so happy with everything. Not only did you get your burger and your fries and your soda, but you got some little gift to take home with you. And of course, I know they have their kids area, the jungle gym. But in reference to the CEO, my takeaway from it as a non-consumer of these products was that he was also a non-consumer. That's what I felt like. He really was doing something he didn't want to do. So going back to the title of our show, what were they thinking? Did they do it intentionally? And regardless, it seems to have driven up the sales of the product.
I think they did it intentionally. I think we've all been fooled. I think there are a whole bunch of I think Stalin used to call useful idiots, people that believe in something, that are out there selling something without realizing it just by being who they are. So when you get and even today, just a few minutes on Instagram, 3 or 4 reels came by of people doing parody recreations of Chris's introduction of the Arch Burger, of the Big Arch. So it's still going on, and there's still all that buzz out there, and there are going to be hundreds of thousands of people today that are going to say, you know what, maybe I'll have one of these for lunch. Maybe. And maybe I will. I don't know. But it's not a bad product. It's actually pretty good. You know, health issues aside. And I think they're doing a brilliant job.
Yeah, forget about your health. Throw your health to the wind.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, you're kind of putting that aside for most of the stuff yeah, there it is, though. So, yeah, anyway, I'm really glad we had a chance to explore it, because it really is about the psychology of the consumer and the psychology of the company and the brain processes that go into making decisions, like the one we kind of witnessed in those little clips of, I'm going to get out there and sell my burger, but I'm going to do it in a way that actually doesn't sell the burger. And then I'll let the market do it for me. And it's exactly the way that Tom Sawyer painted the fence. Let's get everybody else to paint it. That's it. We'll get everybody else to paint the fence, and you'll just sit back and watch. And I think that fence painting thing is kind of what we're looking at here. It's kind of cool.
Agreed. Yeah, it is kind of cool. And I think something else that you and I have seen since the evolution of our lives, and also the evolution of television, is you don't have to pay for expensive advertising campaigns. You don't have to go to New York and hire some firm to do your advertising. You can go right for free on social media, and then people will just either like it, not like it. They will buy your products or they won't, but you have an audience right there that's captive, and you can create whatever you want for a minimal amount of money.
Such a good point. It is kind of a brave new world where anybody with a microphone can get out there and make as much noise as you used to be able to make with a microphone in a major studio with the backing of a huge production company. Now you can do it from your kitchen, which is pretty much literally where I am. I mean, this show is coming to you in the 30 feet from my microwave to my laptop.
And I'm coming to you from my studio, which was flooded and everything's brand new. Another comment from Frank. Thank you. I recall an interview many years ago of Bill Rosenberg in Quincy, Mass, who stated that he had 2 Dunkin' Donuts every morning. Yeah.
Well, that'll sell a donut.
That's right. And by the way, I haven't had a Dunkin' Donut in probably 10 plus years, but they were so good, those chocolate glazed donuts. But I'm getting off the topic. So the topic is, what were they thinking? We're going to be exploring this every other week in between the business show. So we actually have the business show and we have a head for business. And so we're going to be looking at some of these brands and some of the decisions that were made. And Al, through the genius of technology, is going to be bringing in AI on some of our future episodes. What else do you want our audience to know about this show?
Well, I think it's well, I don't want to say it's going to be fun every time we do it. There are some legitimate disasters that highlight really, really catastrophically poor judgment, part of individuals and teams, which is kind of my passion, that led to serious consequences. So from time to time, we'll be looking at some big mistakes that were really, really catastrophic in nature. And all of it you can trace back to bad decisions that went uninspected for whatever reason, where people could have stopped it, they didn't, and it happened. And in little cases, you lose sales. In big cases, you lose lives. And we're going to be looking at those every other week, at least one example every other week, and talk about what they were thinking. What were they thinking when they made that decision, when they made that poor choice?
Absolutely. And I just want to share with our audience something that's been on social media quite a bit, and we're going to talk about it in a future episode, is Hermes and the Birkin bag. And so any of you out there who have seen the reality show called Traders, I'm not going to go through what happened or not happened, but there is a Birkin bag that is featured prominently as part of the ending and subsequent a lot of press about the Birkin bag. And so I actually did some research on the whole mindset and philosophy behind Hermes and the ability to purchase or the inability to purchase this bag. So we'll be looking at this in a future episode. I think it's kind of interesting.
That'll be great. And I was thinking you could probably fit an Archburger in one of those bags.
Let me tell you something. If you're paying $13,000 plus, you are not putting that burger in that bag. I promise.
You're not going to put a Big Mac. I'm not going to put that sandwich is not going in my bag. I got it.
No. Apparently, the Birkin bags have done better than the stock market over, I think, the last 15 years. So don't quote me on that, but I think that's pretty accurate.
That perfectly explains why I didn't buy one. I never, ever. My philosophy has always been buy high, sell low.
Well, as we close out this episode, why don't you tell people about ProFit for Teams, what you're doing there, who you can help?
Well, going back to Rich's segment in the very beginning of the program, he made the point that when you connect people to their purpose, rather than just to the work they do, when you make it more about the meaning of the work and less about the process of the work, you get better results. So after years managing projects, mostly technical projects, a few marketing projects for some pretty big companies, one of the things I've learned is that when you connect your people to the purpose that they serve, to the reason why they're a team, when you connect them to that, you get better results, you get better engagement. ProFit for Teams is a collection, a portfolio of products and services that make it possible to measure a team's alignment with the purpose they serve, and then improve that alignment through a series of workshop experiences, meaningful interactive experiences that connect people with their purpose, connect people with the meaning of their work. And I'm really proud to be one of the creators of the program. And I can tell you, having done a bunch of these workshops, they're transformative and very meaningful and fun.
Thank you, Al. And for those who are listening later after the show runs live, we're actually also showing Al's LinkedIn profile. So please go ahead and connect with Al there and also go to his website. Al, it has been an absolute pleasure to do this show with you today. Thank you so much. And by the way, thank you for thinking of it. Thank you for your creative genius and the fact that after all these years, we are still broadcasting together since 2019.
Since 2019, that's I think that's a testimonial to you, Dr. Jacalyn, and the community you've built. You've done a great job.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you because you are my mentor and you really know television and you know what resonates with people. And so I believe that what we're doing here resonates as well. So for those of you out there who are watching live, and we see there are a lot of you across the platforms, please do go wherever you are, go to our YouTube channels and subscribe there, USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Part of the reason is that YouTube gives us real numbers so we know who's watching where and how long they're staying on. And also some of the other platforms take the content down after 30 days. I don't know if you're aware of that, but Facebook after 30 days, boom, bye. So you want to be able to come back and see all of your favorite programs. And you can't keep your hands off that burger. I love it. So while you're finished eating an early lunch, I might add, it's not even 11 here on the East Coast. I want to thank you, Al. We're going to be back for our next episode, which is The Business Show, which is next week. And we've got a great guest, David Nicholson, who is commonly featured on CNBC and Bloomberg. He's also a professor at Wharton, which is where I met him. I'm taking the Chief Strategy Officer course there. And he's an expert when it comes to artificial intelligence. So he'll be joining us next week.
That'll be great.
All right, Al. Thank you very much. See you again soon, my friend. Keep eating.
Thank you, Doc.
Maybe you should start eating while you're on a treadmill. Just start walking and eating at the same time. All right. Bye for now.
Bye now.
Thank you again for being here today. If this is your first time on USA Global TV and Radio, welcome. We have over 60 shows, 60, and you can find out more by going to our website, usaglobaltv.com. If you'd like to be a guest on this or any of our other shows, go to usaglobaltv.com. And again, if you would please kindly go over to YouTube, where we have earned the YouTube Silver Creator Award for over 100,000 followers on our USA Global TV and Radio channel, which is actually 2 years ahead of Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, but I've got the award right here on my desk. So we love to have you as part of our community. All right, we're signing off for now. And again, please do go over to ProFit for Teams and also LinkedIn and follow Al and follow me as well. We'd love to have you as part of our community. All right, thank you again. We're saying goodbye.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, We're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.